are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, 5 Innovative Ways to Manage Physical Security. I'm Ann Cosgrove, the Editor-in-Chief of Facility Executive Magazine, and today's webinar is presented by Breathe-O with a guest speaker from Breathe-Er. Before we get started, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. Please note the control panel on your screen. This is where you can submit questions in the question box in that panel. You can send your questions in at any time, and the speakers will address them after the presentation. Please note the orange arrow on the left side of that control panel. Clicking on that arrow will either expand or collapse the panel, so please be sure it is expanded so you can access the question box. Also, if at any time you experience a technical difficulty, please send a message to us in that question section and someone will respond to you right away. So I'd like to introduce your speakers today. There's Jonathan Poland of Breathe-O and Shannon Beck from Breathe-Er. Jonathan is the Senior Director of Business Development at Breathe-O, where he oversees the creation of new channels and partnerships and manages international expansion and relationships with enterprise customers. Jonathan has diverse experience in channel development and partnerships, and prior to joining Breathe-O in 2014, he held roles in marketing and business development at American Express, TrueCar, and AARP. Shannon is Construction Project Manager at Breathe-Er, a company providing meeting rooms designed for work meetings and focus. The company operates a network of more than 500 locations across 10 cities in the US and Canada. She oversees construction for Breathe-Er within 7 markets, and since joining the company in 2016, Shannon's overseen the build-out of more than 150 locations. She's responsible for the company's construction strategy and standardization, and previously Shannon served as the construction project manager at the Yard. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. So again, we are going to learn today how business can transform facility management into a competitive advantage using new technologies. Facilities managers are responsible for providing a pleasant experience, an outstanding experience for all stakeholders that interact with their facilities, be they employees, tenants, and visitors, while optimizing capital investments and operating expenses. So today, we're going to talk specifically about 5 ways that companies can utilize technologies to allow facilities managers to deliver efficient experience to every employee, user, visitor, and vendor. So we're excited today to have Shannon Beck, who is, again, the construction manager for Breathe-Er, a very dynamic company with a dynamic environment. Breathe-Er is the go-to solution for the mobile workforce, providing businesses and individuals with flexible spaces that are reserved via its mobile booking technology. And Shannon is going to talk about how they are applying technology in multi-site, multi-tenant facilities to generate revenue and elevate the customer experience. So we're very excited to have you all here today, and we're very excited to have Shannon here today as well. So now we're going to move on to a quick poll question to help us gear the presentation to your needs and your interests. We're interested in learning how you are currently using technology to secure your facilities and how the use of that technology or lack of it is helping or hurting your physical security.
Great, thank you. So this is Ann again, and I want to just point out that question on your screen, and it's how would you classify your organization's current use of technology in facility security? And you'll see the choices there. A strength, is it a weakness, an opportunity, or a threat? So how would you classify your current use of technology in facility security? Please take a moment to cast your vote, and we will show the results shortly. Okay, so how would you classify your organization's current use? Let's see, the clear leader there, 53%, is an opportunity, followed by 35% a strength, 12% a weakness, and no one sees it as a threat. So that's a good thing, I suppose. Okay, thank you everyone for voting, and back to you, Jonathan.
Great. Thanks so much, Ann. And thank you, everybody, for that input. The first of our topic today is mobile. So the mobile trend has been one of the biggest things that has happened in computing and consumer technology linked with the rise of the internet. So as the internet has risen in prominence, the mobile trend has risen along with it. So much so that there are now more mobile users and more time spent on mobile devices than there are desktop users. And that's really changing everything. It's changing e-commerce, the way we interact and purchase things, our interaction with our banks, the way we consume media, television, all kinds of industries. And just now, it's starting to come in and change facility management. So specifically, we're going to talk today about mobile integrations that allow access control through existing applications. So really, we're talking about open APIs that allow for key functions with facility management and access control. The ability to administer and to grant mobile credentials, not through one specific application, but through applications of choice, either by administrators or customers. And we want to have it so that you, as a facility manager, can grant credentials and administer the system from your mobile device using a variety of applications, of commercial applications. So I'm going to turn it over to Shannon, if you would, talk to us a little bit specifically how Breather uses these mobile integrations.
Sure, thanks, John. So Breather really is a real estate and tech company combined. And real estate, though, is one of the older type of companies that still operate in a more traditional fashion. And adding tech into it has really given our company the ability to do what it does. Without technology, without mobile users and the platforms that we have, we would not be able to unlock spaces throughout cities, and especially remotely, without it. It makes it all possible for us. So what we have been able to do is create a network of 400 plus spaces across 9 different markets through a platform that we developed, and then through other technologies that allow us to unlock those spaces without physically having to send someone each and every time there's a reservation, since our reservations are done all the way down to by the hour. So we rely very heavily on technology working in our favor to make everything move seamlessly for every single member's experience. And our app and our platform are really tied together in order to provide every member the most seamless experience that we can, so that as soon as you book your reservation, which can be minutes before, all the way through accessing space, you can transition from street side to your room, all through on your phone or on your laptop easily.
Great. Thanks so much, Shannon. So wrapping this up, just wanted to follow that up with an example from the Brevo side. As Shannon is stating, we see this too with other applications with Brevo. We see large retail establishments, physical fitness providers that are using integrated mobile applications to provide access to specific sites. Again, not necessarily a mobile application that's chosen for them, but a mobile application that they would like to use. So the lessons learned here, as the trend is moving up and gaining momentum, do not underestimate the benefits of and the demand for mobile credentials, and seek out providers of mobile credentials who will allow customization with an open API, will allow other mobile credentials of choice to be used. So the next topic we're going to go into now is scalability and expansion. As new spaces are acquired, fast and easy installation and deployment is key. So facilities management is changing, and the use of space is becoming much more dynamic. Breather is a perfect example of that. Tenants, as we've thought of them in the past, are becoming really newly defined and want to interact with facilities and space in ways that they have not done before, and that creates new needs for technology and for facilities management. Facilities managers need to work with systems that keep up with these demands, both from a speed of deployment perspective and flexibility to allow these demands to be met. So as everything is changing about the way people interact and users interact with facilities and their expectations, scalability and flexibility of deployment are key. And Breather is a perfect example. So Shannon, if you would be able to elaborate and give more details on the importance of this topic to you, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, doing construction with Breather has been really a new experience. Typically, construction also moves at a bit of a slower pace. Lead times are usually longer. You take minimum 3 months to build out any one location. With Breather, we could be launching up to 50 different sites across 9 cities in 1 month, which we have done multiple times this year. And that requires not only shorter construction timelines and other timelines as we launch a space, but it becomes really critical that we can get the technology installed and up and running and be able to secure a space within usually 24 hours or less, really in 1 day. I can sit in New York and be launching a space in London, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Montreal, wherever, and that is all happening because I can log onto a platform, work with my team members remotely, test the door. Okay, we're great. We'll make it live on the platform, and within 1 day, we've just launched possibly, several sites. And so it becomes really crucial for us that all of that can happen in as short of a timeline as possible, because launching our sites and getting them live on a platform is so critical to our business. Obviously, every day that we don't have something available is, something that we are, our members are looking for constantly. And so we want to get it up and running as fast as possible.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Shannon. So really to bring this home from our perspective here at Brevo, as Shannon said, time is money, literally in their case. So the key here to this growth is the centralized infrastructure. We've seen deployments here of hundreds of sites or 1,000 sites in under 60 days, and in the case of Shannon, within days. And compared to other types of solutions or on-premise solutions, there's no need to set up a significant infrastructure, whether it be static IPs or servers or whatever it is for each site you want to deploy. You're simply connecting that site as it comes online to a centralized infrastructure that enables you to grow in a very fast and scalable way. So again, avoid or be cautious of systems that are not able to grow or shrink as you're adding sites and taking away sites. You want to be able to have something that can deal with the flexibility and the dynamic nature of today's facilities management and today's demands, and Breather is a perfect example of that. So we're going to move to the third topic now, which is giving users independence. And when we say this, we mean that tenants are able to manage their access through one portal. So a couple topics here. So the landlord-tenant relationship. What we're finding today is that landlords need to be prepared to allow tenants to be administrators within the system, to have control over their own access. So you're essentially having those controlling spaces within your space. You want to be able to do that kind of thing in a central place for all of your locations so that the visibility is there, and you want to be able to perform those functions from a desktop or a mobile device, so this can be done from anywhere and done easily. So I'll turn it back over to Shannon now, if you would. Can you tell us how this concept applies to the work that the Breather team does?
Yeah, this has been really critical for us because we have different parties that need to access our space and need to have different allowances into our space or based on time periods. So that starts with our own staff. And me being able to let even a contractor, a subcontractor, or any one of our OAs, operating assistants, into a space remotely or for only a specific period of time. That goes to our landlords and other tenants within a building, and giving them restricted access to our space, and being able to see on the platform behind the scenes of if someone has accessed that space by their specific PIN code, or if those PIN codes, if there's even an issue and it's failing and why, and we can react quickly, and all the way up to our members who may have access to a space for 1 hour, all the way up to multiple days. And those can all be customized for that user experience. And again, so that we can track and be accountable to who's accessing the space when, and even being able to provide that information to our landlords if necessary, and providing us all of that data on the back end to be able to analyze is really important so that we can provide the best experience we can for our members going forward.
Thanks, Shannon. So to wrap it up with this end, from this end, so we see this on the Brevo side as well beyond the Breather application. I personally just recently got a request from a flexible workspace with a temporary tenant, and the flexible workspace wanted to be able to give access to the tenant within the space while still maintaining control, visibility, and the ability to revoke credentials. And this system gave the ability to do that much more flexible. So the lessons here: autonomy does not mean you lose control. You can still have the overarching control over the whole system while still giving tenants inside the ability to have control and autonomy there. And that makes your job easier because you're giving the tenants and you're giving users of your facility the ability to do what it is that they need to do and interact with the space as they want to do it. We'll move on to the next topic now: remote access and tracking. So the ability to remotely grant or revoke access to tenants from anywhere on any device, any mobile device, critical for what we see here at Brevo and critical for Breather's work as well. Facility managers need remote access and management, which they can do within cloud-based access control. And you don't have to worry that you can't get to the location due to unforeseeable circumstances, something you could never have known about. You can call another administrator to unlock the doors to the store, to the facility, log in, grant or revoke access to specific locations or doors remotely so that you can manage things with equal efficiency, whether you're on site or whether you're off site traveling or on the go managing your business. So Shannon, what exactly does this mean for Breather? I'll turn it over to you for some more information on that.
Yeah, John, this has been very important factor for us in having conversations with landlords, especially being a startup and creating that and building that trust. Typically, a landlord is used to working with a tenant who is signing a long-term lease and has a pretty set amount of employees typically or guests that will be entering and leaving their space. And Breather is coming to the table and presenting kind of a whole different perspective of saying we'll handle the lease side, but our members come and go, like I said previously, pay possibly by the hour or day to day, but it changes. And building that trust and making the landlord feel comfortable and confident that we are still maintaining control over who has access and when has been really critical. And that is all coming back to being able to provide a lock solution that we can look at the data on the back end. And we even have built a secondary platform called Front Stage that we're launching with our landlords that again now takes parcels out some of that data and provides it direct to the landlord. So now the landlord feels like they can tap in anytime, log into their platform and see who's been accessing that space, how many times a day and when. So all of this is happening, remotely for our part because a lot of us sit in different cities and we need to be able to grant that those different access levels, but again, provide the data that comes from it to people like a landlord. In building that trust has been something that has really helped us as a startup really grow and move forward. And now we're seeing ourselves being invited into, larger and larger buildings because they see that we do have full control and access to our spaces. And we definitely know what's going on at any point with each and every location.
Thank you very much, Shannon. So wrapping up from this side, some examples that we see on the Brevo side, in addition to the great information that Shannon is providing. One specific example is the physical fitness industry. We have multiple examples of owners, gym owners with multiple locations who can do many things remotely that they need to run their business. So whether it's giving 24/7 access for customers, opening it to a new tier that they hadn't had before, unlocking doors remotely for employees or customers with forgotten PINs and other key functions. And like Shannon is saying, with the operations Breather, both from an operations and a data perspective, this gives them the ability to run their facilities and their businesses more efficiently and to understand how their spaces are being utilized as well. So the last topic we'll go over today is customized credentials, the ability to customize access by person, role, time, and location, and to be able to do it easily with specific groups. So it's essential to be able to do this for security of your building and the security of sensitive areas. So as an example, if you know that you have a cleaning crew who works from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., or you have a CEO that has access to sensitive areas 24/7, and general employees have sensitive areas between 1 and 3, and then accessing the office at all times between 8 and 6, it's essential to be able to provision those access groups and clear paths for people to be able to easily access those spaces easily from anywhere, anytime. So Shannon, tell us a little bit, if you would, about how Breather uses access customization technology running your business.
Yeah, building off that, we have the same path that we follow. Of our members have one code that is given to them for their distinct reservation that day, that time block only. Once that reservation expires, that code also expires. Right after that, every time we have a reservation, afterwards we always have one of our operations assistants that go in and clean and straighten up the space. They have a completely different code that is given to them, and all of this ties into our platform that we've built out, so that these two platforms can talk to each other seamlessly, and we can get people in and out with ease. And then also we have some situations that have been arising where we've had the opportunity to move into some really great spaces, but that also meant that we were providing now access to directly street side, in especially large cities, San Francisco, New York. That safety and that ability to really control that door and know it's, even if the door is unlocked for too long, all the way down to those, how many seconds that happen. All of that has happened, very seamlessly whenever we install a reader on the street side door, and then we can install a second reader on the direct suite door. And those both talk to each other, those talk to the reservation, and the code is the same throughout. So again, the member is provided with a seamless experience throughout their reservation, and they're not having to go through any difficulties fumbling around for keys or trying to wait for somebody to provide access from a street side door. We can still control that. And again, the landlords even have let us come in and do those installations a lot of times because they were not aware that that was a solution that they could go to, or they have realized like, wow, this is amazing, and this provides me a lot of more flexibility with my own tenant. And sometimes they will want to install it themselves, but just bringing that to the table as a solution has worked really well for us.
Great, thanks, Shannon. So wrapping this up from the Brevo side, in addition to what Shannon said, we see constant examples of this. One example that comes up again and again for us, university clients. So they need to be able to have, to provide students with peace of mind. Dormitories are secured 24/7. They need to have the academic staff have the ability to get into buildings 24/7, students at certain time, other crews and maintenance crews come in at certain times. And again, the ability to do this, to very easily segment groups and to give the right access from anywhere, anytime, really gives that peace of mind that's needed on campus. And we're seeing this from facility managers in that industry and others all the time. So again, the ability to easily grant physical access to more sensitive areas only to those who actually need it minimizes the footprint of those privileges that an organization has to track and manage, whether you're managing one site or several locations. This helps keep you secure and give the peace of mind that is needed. So I'm just going to quickly run through the topics again to bring it home here. So the importance of mobile, again, that trend is definitely on the rise, with more people interacting with their mobile devices than on their laptops or desktops. People expect, both users and administrators expect, to be able to use mobile anytime. And we're going to see that become more and more in facilities management. The scalability for dynamic work environments. So Breather is an example, a perfect example of a work environment that's becoming much more dynamic, much more flexible. The demands are different than what has been seen in the past for facility management, and systems need to be able to accommodate for growth and change like that. Independence for users and tenants. Users and tenants need to be able to have new types of relationships where tenants can get temporary access when they need to. The operations need to be able to be operated remotely. So you need to be able to provide remote access and tracking of individuals and their activities from anywhere. And then customizing credentials and unique access paths. So whether it's, again, providing the right individuals with the right access to the right place where they need to be to provide that peace of mind, or a unique access path, like in the case of Breather, where you'll have an individual that needs to have a path straight up from the street, in this case with a mobile application, being able to easily put in place that path where they can get in and access a space within another building. To be able to do that very easily is really what we're after here. So we have another poll question now as we do wrap up to hear what you think of these innovative uses of technology for your access control challenges.
Great, thank you. So yes, you should see the question there on your screen, everyone. Which of the 5 topics discussed today do you think would help you the most to improve your facility management? Mobile technology, the scalability, the remote access, the remote control, or the customized access? Which one of those would help you the most to improve your facility management? Please take a moment to cast your vote. And again, we will show the results shortly. And then we will go into our Q&A. Okay, so we see here on our screen, 35% mobile technology would be the most helpful in improving, followed by customized access and remote access, remote control, and scalability rounds it out with 10%. So thanks again, everyone. Back to you, Jonathan.
Perfect. Thanks, Ann.
Okay. All right. So we do have some questions that have come in, and I want to thank you, Jonathan and Shannon, for the presentation there, and thanks to our
Ann, I've just got one more slide to go through.
Oh, sure. Actually. Sure. No problem. No problem. We just have our questions coming in, so no problem at all. Go ahead. Wrap it up.
Perfect. So we just wanted to go into some of the topics again. Thank you all for answering the poll. We'll certainly talk about mobile here. So we just wanted to go into some of the specific applications on Brevo and how they apply to the Breather application. So less IT, that topic, easy on the organization, nothing to build. So as Breather goes in and installs their installations around the country and the world, again, there are no servers, there are no static IPs, really nothing specific in terms of infrastructure to install. The security is maximized both for Breather and for the landlord because the Brevo system is off the network, and we at Brevo are extremely vigilant about the security of the system. The scalability, again, flexible, can go up and down very, very easily with the limited infrastructure. And then mobile, which I'm sure we'll talk about more in the Q&A, but the ability to do this both from an administrative perspective and from a user perspective, anytime, anywhere. So I'll talk a little bit more about what that means. The ability to, again, if you are running an installation or a Breather installation, you need to let somebody in or make a change to that installation or that deployment, and you're in California, you need to do something to somewhere in New York, you can do that from a mobile device. If you need to give somebody the ability to access the space, whether it's a Breather customer, or whether it's a maintenance crew or somebody like that, you need to give them the ability to access it without actually getting in touch with them, and you want a secure way to do that, you can give them a mobile credential. That's how Breather operates with Brevo, and that's one of the things that we're doing that's really helping Breather to fulfill its mission. The rapid deployment, the ability to get the system out there quickly, to respond to the changing needs, the flexibility and the dynamic nature of the system. And then finally, the integration, again, going back to that mobile topic, the ability to integrate with existing mobile applications, in this case, the Breather application. Their customers don't want to see Brevo. We're the engine behind what Breather is doing. They want to see the Breather application, the ability to do what Brevo allows them to do within that application. So again, to bring it home, Brevo does all this while at the same time delivering real-time insights and data that Shannon mentioned, because everything is there throughout the entire installation within the Brevo on-air cloud. And I think now we'll go ahead and open it up to questions, Ann.
Great, thank you. Thanks again, Jonathan, and thank you, Shannon. Okay, yeah, we do have some questions, and let's see. Well, I will jump in. You had talked about, I'm just going to jump in on a specific angle right off the bat, because you had talked about scalability, rapid deployment, and we did have a question about that benefit. So the question is, what technologies do you work with? Does the Brevo system work with to be able to do these installations so quickly? What technologies or other elements of the system allow you to do this?
Sure, I'll start out and take that one. So Brevo, from a hardware perspective, is a platform, a very flexible platform. So the general rule is that as long as the access control equipment or the systems that the inputs and outputs that the Brevo system is working with, as long as it works with a weakened output or OSDP, that system will work with Brevo. So that gives the flexibility for it to work in many cases with existing equipment, existing installations. So if you want to move to have it in there to perform some of these functions like what we've discussed with Breather, it can certainly do that. And then from a software perspective, there is an open API, so it allows it to work with systems like the Breather system. And it's also able to work alongside other systems as well by putting the Brevo controller with existing systems there. Shannon, did you have any other comments on that?
Jonathan, I'm sorry, I just wanted to jump in for a moment. We had an attendee asking, did you mean that it can be used with regular card readers?
Yes, it can. It can be used with regular card readers, Prox card readers, smart card readers that again have weakened inputs or OSDP inputs. It can absolutely be used with that today.
Great, thank you.
Shannon, before we move on, did you have any other comments about the types of systems that Brevo works with?
Yeah, John, actually that has been something that we've come across in certain markets, especially larger landlords or larger buildings where they have existing systems already in place. And possibly we need to be able to access our space individually after hours, before hours, or on a weekend, where their system after certain hours only, the tenants of the building have maybe card readers or a fob or specific pens they use. So what we've been able to do is very easily just tie into their system, and we add all we have to do is add the secondary keypad, and then we tie that into our backstage, and we're still able to remotely unlock that door and control that door for the hours that we need. And it's been really nice to just be able to do that with a large landlord or a really large building, 23 floors up. To run that new from scratch could be more costly, but what we've been able to do is just easily tie directly in whatever the landlord has right there. So it's very seamless, and again, it happens in that single day installation for us.
Great, thank you. So the next question also touches on hardware, video specifically, and tying that in. So one question we have about tying in video with this is, currently I have DVR systems for surveillance, and it requires me to be at the workstation to use it. Does your technology discussed today exist for video?
Thank you very much for the question. So it does. We have an integrated video solution, we have a partner company called Eagle Eye Networks. They produce a device called a bridge that buffers video locally and then pushes it up to the cloud. And we work together with them. We have an integration between the two systems to provide really the full picture of facilities management in the cloud. So that system is taking the video, working with it, and then there's an integration between the two systems, between door access events and video events, such as, for example, if somebody came in yesterday to a facility at 5 o'clock, you can click on or go to that access event and view the video that's associated with that event. So it eliminates the need, if you think there was something suspicious or whatever the case may be about that access event, it eliminates the need to search back through video logs. You can simply go in and get the video that's associated with that access event very easily because of that association and connection. And just like Brevo with the access control function, that video can be accessed and interacted with from any mobile device, tablet, or laptop from anywhere in the world at any time.
Wonderful, thank you. So coming back a little bit to a higher level, we did have a question. How easy is it to migrate from our current on-premises system for access control to this type of system? What would that entail, for someone who, I'm sure many of our listeners today have existing systems. So how does that work?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the question. The answer is it is generally quite easy to do that. It's referred to here as a takeover. So because we do use, going back to the first question, because the platform is flexible and it's designed to accommodate different types of hardware, we do offer a system that can be used easily for those who are able to migrate to the cloud. So again, as long as readers and access control equipment connect via Wiegand or via OSDP, not in 100% of cases. If there's something proprietary with the existing access control equipment, there could be an issue. But as a general rule, it is very easy to migrate from an on-premise system to put these systems into the cloud. Very, very easily doable, and the system is designed to accommodate those kinds of requests.
Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Here's a question having to do with security, cybersecurity. Some existing solutions on the market, I assume, have been hacked. How do you position your solution with a security warranty? How do you kind of make those existing customers, or I'm sorry, those potential customers, understand that they will be secure with Brevo?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. So we take a very comprehensive approach to cybersecurity. It's a subject that we're very passionate about. The easiest and most detailed explanation that I can provide is found in our information security white paper. I can put it out to the group after the webinar. But in short, the system is designed to be extremely safe. Our controllers are edge-to-center devices, so they will only communicate with the host. They will not accept incoming communication. They are activated. They go to the host. There's an X509 certificate authentication, and then once the connection is established, it's established by a 256-bit encryption, bank-level encryption, to prevent man-in-the-middle attacks. That's, again, the very high-level explanation of it. But we take it very, very seriously, and the information security white paper provides much more detail on the topic.
Great, thank you. Okay, I think we have time for maybe one more question. Let's see, unless another comes in, but let's see here. This one is from a current customer, actually, and they're asking, we currently are utilizing the Brevo system at one of our sites, and we need formal training on the system. So are you able to assist with this step in the process?
Absolutely. They can reach out to us. We have a training team that will facilitate training for the customer on all aspects of the system to ensure that they're using all the features they want to use, and to answer any questions they may have. So we have a team specifically dedicated to do that, and we can certainly connect after the presentation to ensure that happens.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, actually, okay, we do have another question that's come in. Does your system have the ability to integrate into other systems? For instance, here, intrusion detection systems. Meaning, for example, can I, as the administrator, remotely control individual zones protected with microwave sensors, et cetera? So how does integration work there?
We are working on a more formal integration with alarm systems. We do have basic integrations today, the ability to shunt the alarm with an enabling group. So if a user is to come in and interact with the Brivo system in some way, access the system can disable the alarm system right now. But again, right now we're working on more formal integrations with alarm system. That's something definitely very much on our radar screen, and more information to come on that shortly.
Okay, let's see. So I think that is all the time we have today. We will, I want to thank you both for your presentation and for the information. Thanks a lot. And also thank you to our audience for sending in those questions, and of course to Brivo for sponsoring the webinar today. Please be assured that a recording of this webinar will be available online at facilityexecutive.com, as well as at the Brivo website, and that's brivo.com, BRIVO.com. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Shannon.